Welcome to another episode of Purpose NIL. I am your coach on purpose and host, James N. Rink. Our strategy with this show is simple. We help empower student athletes to define their life's purpose and use it to build their NIL opportunities. With us again is John Locke, tight end for the University of Oklahoma football. John, welcome back to the show. How was your week of spring training?
It was good. It's always a good week when you're playing football here in Oklahoma, but it's been hard. We're working hard and we're earning it. That's for sure.
I can hear the rasp of tired and weariness in your voice, so we appreciate you being here with us. We're going to have a very, very fun episode, and actually, this is one of my favorite steps of Purpose of You. This is step number 4 of the Purpose of You Masterclass, where John has been able to write drafts of his purpose statement. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but we also want to encourage our audience that you too could be writing your own purpose statement to help build your own NIL. Even if you're not a college athlete, you still make your money off of your NIL. If you have a resume, that's your NIL. If you have social media and a LinkedIn account, that is your NIL. If you use Facebook, if you're an entrepreneur or a hairstylist or an influencer, that is all your NIL. I always encourage people, figure out their purpose and use it as their NIL to build their personal brand. Now, in Purpose of You, we have a very simple formula to writing a purpose statement. That includes using words of feelings, put to actions to connect to people. That equals purpose. So in our very first episode, John was able to identify the feelings that he loves to feel and the feelings he wants to give to others. So John, if you wouldn't mind, recap what are your core feelings and give us some story examples of how those feelings were essential this week while you were playing football or just in your personal life.
For sure. So some of my core feelings have been love, grateful, invest, passion, and inspire are the true 5 that I've definitely narrowed it down to. And this week, I think all 5 have definitely been evident. For example, this Tuesday, super long practice. Then you have to get right back up Wednesday morning, and I'm back up there at 6 a.m. for a lift. And it's just like, it really wears on you, especially when we're this far into spring ball. You know, when you start something like this, it's really easy to be like, super energetic about it and super intentional about whatever you do. But when you get to this stage where we're at right now is truly when, your feeling of passion for what you do has to come out and it has to be evident.
Well, John, I love that you've been able to whittle down from your top 7 core feelings down to your core 5. That's great work. Okay, your action words, would you mind recapping what those are and what have you learned about those words in your life in football as well as in your personal life?
Absolutely. My action words are achieve, dream, exceed, lead, and practice. And I think this week, especially, practice has been extremely evident because as we are deeper into spring ball, it's very evident on what I need to get better at and what others need to get better at. And that's when this becomes so important, is this 2-week window where the practice that we have is so vital because we have to hone in on what we've learned in the first half of spring ball. It's crazy to think about that there's only 5 more practices left to do that, but it's so important on every opportunity that I get.
So how about the people or people groups? Do you mind recapping what your people or people groups are and how those have been manifest in your purpose throughout this last week?
Absolutely. So the people groups, I had 4. They were children, men, leaders, and family. And throughout this past week on this football team, I can't say that I'm someone who is, a captain or a leader because that's just not true. I mean, I just got here and I got to earn my keep. But I would like to think that, my dedication to what we're doing, showing that I'm consistent with my routine, even though we're super deep into spring ball, would be that of inspiring to the group of leaders on our team, showing them that, I'm a guy that wants to put in the work regardless of how I'm feeling.
That's a great update, John. I love how you're leading leaders.
give a little life update. Been a heck of a year. Turned 39, married the love of my life, and really found my vocational calling. You know, I did some work last year to figure out, all right, what's my purpose? So I had just called off an engagement, had just moved from Montana, walked away from a job that I really loved and was passionate about, just hit a rock bottom moment, like I'm starting all over again. I really want to lean in and figure out why I'm here. I need to figure out my purpose. So that's when I enrolled in the Purpose of You Masterclass.
Knowing your purpose can transform your life. Go to purposeofyou.com to learn more.
My purpose is to love and connect with people, inspiring them towards freedom and helping them create their dream life.
I didn't know where I was going. I would say I was without direction. You know, a lot of the pain for myself, it came from not being able to communicate or not even knowing what it was exactly that I wanted. I've learned to filter it through my purpose now that I've really specified that. When I'm fully me, when I'm alive, when I'm gathering people, like what brings you to life? Like fire it up. When we know our purpose and we're walking in that, there is just such a joy and life in that.
Knowing your purpose can transform your life. Go to purposeofyou.com to learn more.
On this section of Purpose NIL, John is going to tell us the option drafts that he has written for his personal purpose statement. I had a college professor that always told me to write one thing and then rewrite it 3 or 4 times before it's perfect. The more you're doing it, you're learning more about yourself and your purpose, as well as how people are connecting to your purpose. That's what we really want you to do as well. Write a draft of your purpose statement and then live it. The more you live it, the more you'll be able to look at it and say, here's how I can perfect it. And when it's done, you'll know that you've done all the due diligence to make it perfect for you. You're the author of your own purpose statement. Only you can say, okay, it's good to go. I'm going to go live it. This is how we monetize your purpose. This is how we monetize your NIL. John, what have you been able to come up with for your drafts of your purpose statement?
So the first one I came up with was my purpose is to inspire children to dream big. Then my second one was my purpose is to invest in my family to achieve their purpose. And then the third one I came up with was my purpose is to have passion in everything I do, leading to exceeding expectations and inspiring leaders.
All right. I love that. I've got a couple questions and a couple considerations for you. Originally, when you said the word option, I thought you might have had 3 or 4 options of all of these words. What I heard was these are just the 3 main areas, but they all are part of your purpose. So in my thinking is, and on my question, do you feel like one of these is your purpose statement or all 3 combined are your purpose statement?
I would definitely think that all 3 combined are my purpose statement. I think it's almost just different ways to say what my purpose is.
I would agree, but I feel that all 3 of them are fully inclusive to your purpose in life. Yeah, I love that. In fact, I think the ending is actually the bigger out of the 3. And I always encourage people to, like when they're drafting a purpose statement, the bigger, start with that at the first, because that's the most inspiring. Then you can break it down a little bit more generally. So that would just be a consideration as a writer to writer for you. The next is, the second portion, invest in my family to achieve their purpose. Do you want to keep it so direct for your family, or do you want to make it broader for other families?
It could definitely be broader to other families, but I'm also in the mindset of like my family in the future. So like what I do now is investment to helping my family in the future achieve their purpose.
So you could write it either way, but you could easily be writing that second part of your purpose statement of invest in families to achieve their purpose, so that it can be inclusive to your family, but it can be inclusive to other families too. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that.
And where I think that may really help position is that you've left inspire children to dream big, because in that portion of your purpose statement, you are being very gentle to all children, just not yours. Again, it's, I want to kind of lay the groundwork for you want something authentic and genuine to who you are, but you want it as big as who you are as well. So just consider that, because I think that could be very, very powerful as your overall purpose, where you're really going out to focus on helping families and helping children, especially if you're helping fathers to be the best fathers they can be, to help their children.
Right.
And if you can use sports and athletics and dreaming big to help accomplish it, that's exciting stuff. All right. Now, looking at your purpose statement, John, do you feel that you can live your purpose playing college football?
Absolutely. I think all three, even though they're very broad, I think they all hone into exactly where I'm at right now, and that is playing football. You know, I think I can inspire children to dream big by them watching me play and them seeing my story on how I got here and realizing that they can do exactly what I've done. I think that, you know, me playing football here is a great time to invest in families to achieve their purpose. You know, once again, they learn a little bit about me. They see my story, and it inspires them to do whatever it is that's going on in their life, whether it relates to football or not. And I think, you know, the last one especially, having passion in everything I do to exceed expectations and inspire leaders, I think is very key to where I'm at right now. Having passion about playing football, I want to be able to exceed all expectations, and hopefully, you know, that can inspire leaders.
You also excel in finance and economics. In this summer, you have a great opportunity in New York City doing a summer internship with a very prestigious wealth management company, Allen & Company. Can you take your purpose to that internship? Can you take it to work?
Absolutely. And I think that's why, you know, keeping these broad is so important, because like football is going to end one day for me, and there is more to my life than just football. And that's a great example. You know, when I go on this internship for this summer, I need to be able to carry my purpose over there, because that's what makes me who I am.
That is great. Now, you talk about wanting to be a family man. You've talked in the past about wanting to have a wife. Can you see how you could take your purpose to be a husband?
100%. And honestly, you know, I feel like that area of my life is where my purpose almost has the most drive, is because I know what it's like to have, you know, a hero look up to my dad and to think the world of my parents and to have gotten so many core values from them based on, you know, what they went through and what they knew and how they raised me. And, you know, I want to do everything I can pretty much in every moment of my life to prepare myself for that time, so that way my kids can go through the exact same thing that I'm doing. And then when I am a father, you know, I want to still inspire my children to dream big. I want to invest in, you know, in that time, more specifically my family, to achieve their purpose based on what I went through and what I can invest in them to do their purpose. And then to still have passion about being a father. You know, it's not playing football and it's not my job, but it's the most important thing that I think I'm ever going to do. And so having passion in that and leading them to exceed expectations and still inspiring other fathers.
That is beautiful. That's great work, John. When we talk about purpose, we always say a purpose statement is for a lifetime as well as your legacy. Do you feel that if you live your purpose the way you've beginning to write it and define it, do you feel that you would have lived your life's purpose at the end of your life in leading you into a legacy?
100%. And I think it's pretty crazy when I wrote these three things and just thinking about how much ground it covers. I mean, if you told me when I was 80 or 90 years old that all three of those things I was able to accomplish, I mean, I don't know what more I could really ask for.
That's great. All right, one more time, if you wouldn't mind. What is your purpose statement in its current form?
So my purpose statement is to inspire children to dream big, to invest in families to achieve their purpose, and to have passion in everything I do, leading to exceeding expectations and inspiring leaders.
That's great.
Hey, my name is Ray Nahara. My purpose is to love and connect with people, to inspire them towards freedom, and help them create their dream life. Knowing my purpose and knowing that this is who I am, so it's helped me to say no. That no means when I do say a yes, I'm able to be 100%. I'm able to be present. My hopes with it are just for people to come alive and stay alive. Like for people to walk in the power of like being lit up, knowing why they're here. There's nothing like it, so that the good things, the best things can flourish and bloom.
Knowing your purpose can transform your life. Go to purposeofyou.com to learn more.
But knowing my purpose and knowing that, oh, this is what I do, this is who I am, it just allows me to walk in with a sense of confidence and authority. When I go into a room, I notice like, wow, I do feel passion. And so a lot of what I do with my work and with my passion and the different areas of my family, I try to connect with the people in my world to allow them to see, how wonderful they are and notice those things and say the words, to be able to really make the most impact with my time, with my heart, my life.
Discovering your purpose can transform your life. Go to purposeofyou.com to learn more.
In the Purpose of You Masterclass, the next step is for John to begin living his intentional acts of purpose. And I want to encourage our audience to do the same thing. If you're able to identify your purpose, begin to live them. We always want people to live their purpose internally, but also to be able to live them externally, so that you're living your individual purpose within yourself as well as outside of yourself. So John, now that you're looking at your purpose statement, how can you take your purpose to your football training this week?
I think I can take my football or my purpose to football this week through, everything that we've gone through. I mean, continuing to show my core feelings of love, grateful, invest, passion, and inspire, and then putting it in action through my desire to achieve, dream, exceed, lead, and practice. And that will, continue to inspire the people that I want to inspire, which is children, men, leaders, and families.
And looking at your purpose statement in this week ahead, how could you be living your purpose to your family or your friends?
I think that's the, middle portion of my purpose statement when it talks about investing in families to achieve their purpose. And that can come in a lot of different forms, whether it's, being a lead by example or being someone to talk to or whatever it may be.
Now, how about in social media? In our previous episode with Dr. K, she was talking about social media and telling your personal story. Do you feel that you could be living your purpose on social media?
100%. And I think that's where, my desire to inspire children to dream big comes into play because, lots of kids are on social media now, and especially through this, I'll be able to get my story out to them. And that third grader, just like me, maybe scroll on Instagram and see the video and realize, that it's very doable for him. And he's in a position where it's definitely not too late. And just like I was a third grade kid who had a dream of playing at Oklahoma, he can do the exact same thing.
That's great. One of the things that I love to encourage all individuals that are really trying to live their purpose through their name, image, and likeness, you've got an enormous heart for children, for fathers, for families. And it's that high touch relationship and real stories that create the power of engagement, of living your purpose on social media, as well as through any and all NIL opportunities. You know, for years, I've worked in the country music industry. I'm based in Nashville, so I work with a lot of country music stars. The secret to the success of country music is telling real stories about real people, as well as a high-touch relationship between the artist and the fans. If you listen to any great country song, it will always tell a real story about a real person. It's the heartfelt, real stories. And I want to encourage you, John, to build your social media the exact same way. Your relationship with your fans or the people that connect with you through football, that you live like a country music story and song that just has a high-touch relationship with people.
I'm just super thankful that I took the time to go through this masterclass and invest in myself to really discover my life's purpose, because when we know our purpose and we're walking in that, there is just such a joy and life in that. Take the time, go through the course. It's absolutely worth it. And I'm living proof of that.
To learn more about discovering how your purpose can transform your life, go to purposeofyou.com and take the free online transformational assessment.
Purpose of You has a transformation assessment of 16 questions that you can answer yes or no to see if Purpose of You is right for you. Prior to Purpose NIL, John went through those 16 questions and he came up with 9 yeses. John, what is one of the other yeses that you answered to?
So one of the other yeses that I answered yes to was the question of, do I feel that I would benefit if I had a daily personal purpose plan to help me live my purpose during the chaos of this era? And I 100% think that's a yes for me because, especially since coming to the University of Oklahoma, I mean, it's been overwhelming, and I've really, wanted to make sure that I'm doing everything I can on a daily basis to, not feel like that I'm falling behind. And I think having some sort of purpose plan to, keep me in the ropes of what my purpose is would be extremely beneficial. I think it's been so great in so many different aspects of being able to think about, my life and my purpose in a different lens that I've never really sat down and thought about. And it's given me a lot of appreciation for all the ups and downs that I've been through, and given me a lot of appreciations for what's to come, and just for this situation that I am in my life right now.
It's a great update, John. So one final question, as we always like to do on Purpose NIL. What's one thing that you learned about yourself or your purpose this week?
One thing I learned about myself this week through my purpose is just my desire to continue to exceed expectations and to continue to push myself in everything I do, and kind of leaning more into outside of football. I've never really thought about pushing myself outside of football because football is all I've really had to do up until this point, obviously with school. But, getting into the real world and starting to think about the future, just thinking about, being able to hone my purpose in now in football, so that way when I transition it over to a different line of work, that it's seamless. And this week, just thinking about my actual purpose statements has allowed me to come to that realization.
That's great. Make sure you follow John on X at John Locke OC and Instagram John_Locke3103. For more Purpose of You Masterclass information, as well as you taking your own free assessment of the Purpose of You transformation, go to purposeofyou.com and follow me on social media at #JamesMRink. Now, on our next episode, John is going to report back to us on what he has learned about himself through his intentional acts of purpose. John, you ready to take your purpose to your friends, family, and football this week?
I am.
Well, thank you, John, for your honesty and for your time today. And we would also thank our audience for joining us on this episode of Purpose NIL. We'll see you on the next one.